Hey, everybody. Today is Thursday, April the 12th of 2018, and you are watching FCN Prime News. I'm your news anchor, Trezene, editor of FCN1, which is home of all things news, business, and politics, and home of Prime News and the Sunday edition. I have some great stories for you all today, including details on the highly popular Black Lives Matter Facebook page that has been discovered to be a huge fake, as well as details on the report that Howard University released sharing just how much money was stolen from student financial aid, and details about the DVD release date for Black Panther and what deleted scene will be included in the DVD cut. But first, time to remind you all that we are live on Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope. So thank you all for your support of this program wherever you happen to be watching. If you haven't already, please like, follow, and subscribe to all of our channels. We're on YouTube and Facebook at /The Fifth Column Network. Prime News is on Instagram, Twitter, and Periscope at FCN_1. You can also watch all of our programming on demand on our website, which is thefifthcolumnnetwork.com. Just click on FCN1 to see all the episodes of Prime News and our weekend magazine news show, The Sunday Edition. All right, it's time to go ahead and share this program with your friends and your followers. And don't forget to leave your comments, your thoughts, your questions, your jokes, your sarcasm, all of that, because of course, when the news stories end, I will always tackle your comments live so we can have some real conversation. All right, here we go. Let's get into our crime news. First up, a student in Florida says she was forced to put Band-Aids on her nipples because she didn't wear a bra to school. 17-year-old Lizzie Martin went to class in a gray Calvin Klein t-shirt this past Monday at her high school without a bra, and the dean said she was violating dress code and distracting her male classmates. Martin was made to put on a second t-shirt underneath the other one. It wasn't enough. The female dean told her to stand up and move around for her, and the dean wasn't pleased with the results. So the dean gave the 17-year-old some Band-Aids and told her to X out her nipples. The school district has since admitted that the situation should have been handled differently and that corrective measures have been taken to make sure this doesn't happen again. But they insist that the excessive movement of the teen's breast in the shirt was a clear violation of the school's dress code. Martin's mother, however, has told media outlets that the school dean made a big deal about nothing. She said there is clearly a double standard because she's certain that a male student with excessive breast tissue wouldn't be asked to confine the movement of his chest. I'm not making this up, people. No disciplinary action has been taken against the student, but she says she plans on protesting the incident by refusing to wear a bra for the rest of the school year. Good luck with that. In Spain, police say a killer who stabbed a gay man to death 18 years ago and then used the victim's blood to leave a terrifying message above the body has finally been arrested. An investigation over the last 2 decades has revealed that the victim and the killer met via a sex ad in a local newspaper, and after a night of drinking and hanging out, the two went back to the victim's apartment. A relative of the victim's roommate found the body hours later, completely stabbed to death. Authorities say the killer used the victim's blood to scrawl "Hitler was right" and KKK on the wall above the body where it lay dead. The killer also left a plastic yellow flower wrapped around the victim's ear. The case went cold for years, but tidbits of information continued to leak in about the case, and in 2016, authorities were ordered by a judge to reopen the case and use modern technology to start piecing together who was responsible. Using phone records from the apartments, authorities tracked the calls to the sex ad phone number and then further to a house where the suspect was staying when the murder occurred. They say people who knew the suspect at the time told them that he believed in a Nazi ideology and had boasted about killing a homosexual in Barcelona. Eventually, police focused in on the killer, who had a history of sexual aggression and accusations and such, and he fled Spain in 2009. The killer was indeed married to a woman when he allegedly killed the victim. Currently, the killer sits in a Colombian prison awaiting extradition to Spain for further prosecution. Note to self, don't get murdered in Spain, because it will take a judge to order police to do basic police work just to find your killer. While we're on the topic of murderers, in Colorado, a father admits he tried to kill his 2-year-old son by crashing their car. This past Tuesday, Nathan Wetzel, age 31, was sentenced to prison after admittedly crashing his car on purpose so that he can kill his 2-year-old son. Here is what happened. Wetzel put his son in the back seat of his Acura sedan, but didn't strap the child in with a seatbelt. Wetzel put on his seatbelt and drove the vehicle at 70 miles per hour into several parked cars. Wetzel admitted that he wanted to kill his son because being a dad was too big of a job. As phrased in the DA's press release, he said quote, he did not think he was man enough to raise a child, unquote. Wetzel allegedly said that in 2016, he took the 2-year-old to a park where he planned the death. He said he then drove around looking for a good place to crash his car with his son inside. Witnesses said that they heard the child crying after the crash, but didn't see the child at first until they finally saw the dad hitting the child upside the head, trying to get it to stop crying. Wetzel even tried to fight the firefighters who responded to the scene, even taking glass, holding it up to his throat to get them to go away. The 2-year-old child suffered a broken leg, a concussion, and a big cut to his forehead that required about 20 stitches. Wetzel is set to spend 20 years in prison for first-degree attempted murder, which will be followed by 5 years of parole. In North Carolina, 2 adults have been charged in a man's death 20 years after being convicted for abusing him when he was an infant. Robin Knopfsinger, age 41, and David Tripp Jr., age 45, are being charged with the death of an adult man because authorities say this adult man died as a result of the injuries they gave him while he was a baby. In 1997, the child, David, who was about 14 months old, was sent to a hospital after sustaining brain trauma, a broken arm, and being dipped in hot liquid, causing burns on his genitals and his buttocks. Knopfsinger and Tripp did prison time for the physical abuse, with Tripp spending 10.5 years in prison, while Knopfsinger, who was the biological parent of David, 11.5 years. The child did survive and lived until age 21, but this case is starting up again because since David passed away this past March, the district attorney has brought up charges on Knopfsinger and Tripp again, this time for murder. The DA said that David's death is a direct result from the abuse he endured years ago at the hands of Knopfsinger and Tripp. The DA said that in many ways, the victim was still an infant at the time of his death, requiring serious medical care in the hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of dollars. According to the DA's report, David never grew to be more than 4 feet tall. He couldn't talk. He was blind, wheelchair bound, and his skull was thickened in response to the beating, so much so that he appeared deformed. Both defendants seemed surprised at being newly arrested, despite the fact that even at the time of their abuse convictions, it was suspected that the victim might one day die from the injuries. Perhaps they were surprised because a part of Tripp's plea agreement, it reserved the right to argue a double jeopardy defense if he was charged again in this case, and it said that the conviction for abuse couldn't be used against him in a second trial. So basically, the prosecutors are going to have to start all the way from scratch to prove the victim was abused by these two, and then take time to prove exactly what injuries were caused to the victim by that abuse, and then take time to prove that the adult victim indeed died from those injuries and no other cause, and then have to rebut the defense of double jeopardy. Good luck with that, fam. Good luck with all of that work. You should have just locked these two up for life without the possibility of parole. Child abuse is certainly one of those things that could come with that kind of a penalty. Turning our attention to politics, we all woke up yesterday to breaking news alerts that House Speaker Paul Ryan is calling it quits. Yes, it's all true. Paul Ryan said he's leaving to spend more time with his family, so he isn't forever known by his children as a weekend dad. Okay. Paul Ryan has been in Congress for almost 20 years. He failed to get anywhere close to a VP job in the 2012 presidential elections, but became top dog in the House in 2015 after ex-House Speaker John Boehner resigned. It is true that Ryan didn't actually want the job as House Speaker, but he was seen as reliable, traditional, and conservative when the GOP was looking for leadership. His main claim to fame is helping pass the new tax bill, and now that that is done, he wants out, and he will finish out his terms and pack his his bags in January. Listen, let me tell y'all something. If somebody uses family as an excuse to resign or leave a position, you can trust it ain't never about family. Let me tell you what this is really about. The GOP is stressing completely out. Around 40 House Republicans are saying that they're going to pass on running for re-election in the midterms, and many that are running face a very tough race in the midterms. This isn't good for the GOP because losing a critical House member like Ryan could certainly scare off donors at a time when the party simply cannot afford it. The truth is, Paul Ryan and many in the GOP know that the ish is about to hit the fan, and they are just not trying to stick around for all the congressional hearings that will tie them up when it does. This past Monday, Prime News reported on the FBI raid against Michael Cohen, Trump's personal lawyer. President Trump reacted pretty angrily to the FBI raid on his personal lawyer's office, calling it disgraceful and an attack on our country. Trump has lashed out as the Cohen raid fuses the Russian probe and the Stormy Daniels case, multiplying the persecution complex, you will, that he has and fueling his sense that he's the target of a witch hunt. The FBI has since sought records on the Access Hollywood tape in its raid and any evidence that President Trump's lawyer suppressed damaging reports. There has also been new evidence found that President Trump made active moves to shut down the special counsel's Russian inquiry, but later backed down. And there has also been evidence that Mueller is investigating a donation of $150,000 from Ukraine officials to Donald Trump's charity after he gave a video talk. For those who don't remember, the first indictments in the Russian probe came as a result of two Trump campaign staffers lying about their lobbying efforts on behalf of Ukraine government officials. And this is just what has been discovered and happened in the last 3 days. After Trump's Twitter tantrums about this turn of events, media has asked the president if he would fire the special counsel, and Trump replied, "We'll have to see what happens." Legal experts claim that it will be suicide if Trump fires Mueller, but I don't think they'll even get that far because the Senate is preparing to pass a bill limiting the president's power to fire Mueller. That's right, thanks to the reporting of Mariana Sotomayor of NBC, here's what the Special Counsel Independence and Integrity Act is going to do, among other things, if it passes. It would make sure that the special counsel can only be fired for good cause by a senior Justice Department official, and the reason must be provided in writing. It also allows the special counsel a right of swift review of his removal to ensure that the firing was indeed for a good cause. As always, guys, I will keep you up to date on what happens next in all things the Russian probe and the removal of number 45. This week, there were other happenings on Capitol Hill. On Tuesday and Wednesday, Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg was grilled by senators about the Cambridge Analytica data breach and the possibility of regulating Facebook as a result of folks using that info to make targeted political ads without users' knowledge or permission. And despite FB stock rising as a result of Zuckerberg's performance, I personally couldn't tell if Zuckerberg was completely oblivious to the incredible harm his company is inflicting on the world, or if he's just giving us the entitled rich whiteboard persona who simply doesn't have to give a single care about others in the name of making money. Here's 2 clips of the congressional hearing to help you see what I'm talking about. The first video, Senator Blumenthal poses a hypothetical to Zuckerberg to help illustrate the gravity of what Facebook is doing, and Zuckerberg's reaction, well, again, I can't tell if he's oblivious or just an a-hole. Take a look at this clip.
Mr. Zuckerberg, would you be comfortable sharing with us the name of the hotel you stayed in last night?
No.
If you've messaged anybody this week, would you share with us the names of the people you've messaged?
Senator, no, I would probably not choose to do that publicly here.
I think that may be what this is all about. Your right to privacy, the limits of your right to privacy, and how much you give away in modern America in the name of, quote, connecting people.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. I'm not gonna lie, I watched this live. He seems completely oblivious in that clip. Like, he completely hadn't considered what Facebook is really doing with its data sharing activities with third parties. But then Senator Graham asked Zuckerberg one simple question, to which Zuckerberg acts like he doesn't know the answer and takes us on an unnecessary ride of the BS. Take a look at this clip.
Who's your biggest competitor?
Senator, we have a lot of competitors.
Who's your biggest?
I think the categories of, do you want just one? I'm not sure I can give one, but can I give a bunch? Mm-hmm. So there are three categories that I would focus on. One are the other tech platforms, so Google, Apple, Amazon, Microsoft. We overlap with them in different ways.
Do they provide the same service you provide?
In different ways, different parts of it, yes.
This way. If I buy a Ford and it doesn't work well and I don't like it, I can buy a Chevy. If I'm upset with Facebook, what's the equivalent product that I can go sign up for?
Well, there's the second category that I was going to talk about.
I'm not talking about categories. I'm talking about, is there real competition you face? Because car companies face a lot of competition. If they make a defective car, it gets out in the world, people stop buying that car, they buy another one. Is it an alternative to Facebook in the private sector?
Yes, Senator. The average American uses 8 different apps to communicate with their friends and stay in touch with people, ranging from texting apps to email.
It's the same service you provide.
Well, we provide a number of different services.
Is Twitter the same as what you do?
It overlaps with a portion of what we do.
You don't think you have a monopoly?
Listen, again, watch this whole thing live, and I'm sitting there looking like, why don't you just answer the question, Mark? Answer the question that has been asked. Listen, when I was in law school, if you did any essay or wrote anything on an essay exam, you would get ATQA, which meant answer the question asked. After 10 hours and nearly 600 questions from Congress, here's basically all that Zuckerberg admitted. He admitted that Facebook did indeed fail to protect users' privacy, that the slow response to Russians' election interference was one of his greatest regrets, that Facebook is indeed cooperating with Special Counsel Robert Mueller's investigation. He also admitted that most users probably don't read the terms of service, and he said he's open to the right regulations on Facebook. Not sure what that means exactly, but I can tell you that yesterday, 2 senators introduced legislation that would require online platforms, Facebook, to explicitly get consent from users to use, share, or sell any of their personal information. As always, I will keep y'all posted on how that bill fares in Congress. Speaking of Facebook, it has been discovered that the biggest Black Lives Matter page on Facebook is a complete fake. For at least a year, the biggest page on Facebook purporting to be a part of the Black Lives Matter movement was a scam with ties to a middle-aged white man in Australia. This was discovered by CNN after a review of the page and associated accounts and websites. The page, titled simply Black Lives Matter, had almost 700,000 followers on Facebook, more than twice as many as the official Black Lives Matter page. Here's the kicker, y'all. The page was tied to online fundraisers that brought in at least $100,000 that was supposed to go to BLM causes in the United States, and at least some of that money was transferred to Australian bank accounts. Fundraising campaigns associated with the Facebook page were suspended by PayPal and Patreon after CNN contacted each of the companies for comment. Other sites like DonorBox and Classy had already removed the campaigns. Facebook was told of the concerns about this fake page, though, some time ago. Patrisse Cullors, a co-founder of the BLM movement, told CNN that Black Lives Matter had contacted Facebook about removing it, to no avail. Only after almost a week of emails and calls between CNN and Facebook about this story did Facebook finally suspend the page, and they only suspended it because a user account that is linked to that page was also suspended. The discovery also raises questions about Facebook's commitment to change and policing this platform. According to CNN, this was not the first time that Facebook took action against a major bad actor on its site only because journalists had made inquiries. Facebook has declined to comment on how much money it has earned from sponsored posts by the fake BLM page. It's time to get off Facebook, y'all. Back in Washington, D.C., Howard University has revealed that fired employees misappropriated $369 Howard University on Monday said 6 former employees took $369,000 in financial aid from 2011 to 2016, revealing for the first time the scope of the scandal that helped ignite a week of protest after it was revealed. The HBCU released a report on the investigation that led to the firing of the 6 employees last year. What began as a routine internal review of the financial aid office in August of 2016 resulted in the hiring of a forensic accounting firm months later, after a consultant grew suspicious about the awarding and distribution of university aid. That accounting firm found that 131 employees received free or reduced tuition and grants from the university between 2011 and 2016 and received extra disbursements. Although all 131 employees were not in on the scam, they showed that the top 50 recipients got 90% of those funds. Even more concerning, the top 5 individuals got almost $700,000 over 6 years, including but not limited to $90,000 in tuition remission, $279,000 in university grants, $303,000 in refunds, and $18,000 in loan forgiveness. Lord have mercy. During that time, the 6 individuals were inappropriately awarded or received $90,000 in tuition benefits and $279,000 in grants, which amounts to the amount of misappropriated funds reported by that university today. The university has not named any of the 6 employees, saying as a matter of policy, it will not disclose employee records. After the firing of the 6 employees, Howard has continued investigating the operations of its financial aid office and whether financial aid, student aid funds have been managed properly. Howard said it initially decided against going public with this investigation because of the ongoing review and had hoped to report the findings once the process was concluded. But of course, we all know the school's hand was forced after an anonymous item was posted on the blogging platform Medium alleging an office-wide scandal involving officials of the university. This Medium post is what outed student Tyrone Hankerson as the main perp in the scam. Hankerson has denied all claims, saying that he simply accepted what financial aid was given to him. Prime News reported last week that Hankerson has filed a lawsuit against the university for not coming forward to clear his name. With the lawsuit pending against Howard by Hankerson, the ongoing auditing and investigation at Howard, and the investigation by authorities, I'm sure the truth will be made known soon. And of course, this story will indeed be updated. On Monday, Bill Cosby's trial started, and a Cosby Show actress showed up at the trial topless in protest to make Cosby uncomfortable. A topless protester who charged at Bill Cosby as he arrived at his sexual assault retrial Monday morning has been identified as Nicole Rochelle, a 39-year-old actress who appeared in 4 episodes of The Cosby Show. The Associated Press reports that Rochelle jumped over a barricade outside of the Montgomery County Courthouse and got within a few feet of Bill Cosby, who is being tried for drugging and sexually assaulting Andrea Costan in 2004. It's being reported that Rochelle belongs to Femin, an international feminist group whose name she had written on her torso in paint, alongside the phrases "Women's Lives Matter" and "Cosby Rapist," and names of more than 50 Cosby accusers. Femin leader Enin Shevchenko told the AP that Rochelle was defending the alleged victims and called her protest the group's contribution to the global revolt launched by #MeToo. Here is a picture of the actress in her role as one of Rudy's friends in The Cosby Show. Rochelle, who is attending Brown University and has TV credits including Law and Order and Chappelle's Show, was briefly taken into custody and charged with disorderly conduct, which is punishable by a fine. Continuing celebrity news, Mariah Carey says she's no longer living in isolation after seeking treatment for bipolar disorder. In a People magazine article, which will hit newsstands on Friday, the singer says she didn't believe it when she was first diagnosed with bipolar disorder after she was hospitalized for a physical and mental breakdown in 2001. She is one of the most successful singers of all time, with 18 #1 hits and more than 200 million records sold. But she said after that, she spent many of her years in the spotlight suffering in silence. She said she found herself living in denial, fearing someone would expose her. She says she is now in therapy and taking medication for bipolar II disorder, which involves periods of depression, as well as hypomania, which causes irritability, sleeplessness, and hyperactivity. Carrie says with acknowledging her disorder and taking her medication, she's gotten back to doing what she loves, writing songs and making music. The wedding for Prince Harry and Meghan Markle is a little more than a month away, and I am so sorry to break it to you, Black female Twitter. Guess who's not invited? It's Barack and Michelle Obama. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle decided to keep politics out of their upcoming royal wedding. It has been decided that an official list of political leaders, both UK and international, is not required for Prince Harry and Mrs. Markle's wedding. Her Majesty's government was consulted on this decision, which was taken by the royal family. And unlike the marriage of William and Kate, political leaders are not required for this marriage ceremony. While Harry and Meghan definitely have become close to the Obamas, their guest list is being reserved for very long-standing friends that they have known for many years. Harry and Meghan do have plans to visit with the Obamas in the very near future. Turning our attention to movie news, and in my last story for tonight on Prime News, the Black Panther Blu-ray DVD release date has indeed been announced. After completely crushing it in theaters, Marvel superhero movie Black Panther is about to make more money. The action film will be available to buy on streaming sites starting May the 8th, with Blu-ray DVD release to follow on May the 15th. There will be a number of retailer exclusive versions available if you're after the Blu-ray and DVD version. For example, Best Buy will have steelbook versions, while Target has a filmmaker edition featuring commentary from director Ryan Coogler. Walmart, meanwhile, has an edition that comes with trading cards. You can visit Black Panther's website to see a rundown of all the editions and where they will be sold. While Marvel has yet to fully detail the contents of Black Panther's home video version, you can expect it to contain bonus features like deleted scenes and gag reels, among other things. There will also be a scene that didn't make the theatrical cut, and thankfully it will be released on the Blu-ray DVD edition. It is, as it's being reported, an incredible scene between W'Kabi and Okoye, with many layers to it that will definitely add not only to the viewing experience, but just the layers of their relationship in general. Black Panther recently surpassed Titanic to become the third highest grossing movie domestically. Now it's only behind Avatar and Star Wars: The Force Awakens. Thank you guys so much for watching Prime News. I don't have my phone out with comments. Tone, do we have any comments on the news broadcast today? We had a few. Anything relevant, important, good comments, or are they just BS comments?
One, Anthony Williams said, Rochelle looks bad. She needs Jesus and maybe meds from a certain doctor.
She looks bad. She needs Jesus and meds from a certain doctor. Wow, what a comment. What a comment. I just find it funny that, you know, in some of the reports, she was like, yeah, he never did anything to me. He was great to me, but I just had to come out here and protest what he's done to these other women. It just seemed very staged and, you know, just not awesome. We got some size in the studio. They want me to get off air so we can get ready for the Thursday wind down. Is that what this is? No. Any more comments?
It says 10 comments.
10 comments?
A bunch of comments from Jason E.
Mm.
And he says, people are fried out here.
I believe that was in reference to the people that molested those kids.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Molested the kids or killed those kids or abused them and killed them. Yeah, people are crazy.
Holly Nice.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Holly.
You're talented, T.
Oh, thank you, Holly. That's so nice.
And Jason Atkins finally said, light-skinned women are the devil.
FCN does not subscribe to colorism or the hating of people because of the complexion of their skin. We are for all of the global majority, regardless of what hue your skin may take. We don't care if you're brown, black, Asian, whatever all the colors are.
White, Puerto Rican, everybody's just a freaking.
Everybody's just a freaking. Any more comments? That's it. All right, y'all, it's Thursday, so you already know what happens after Prime News ends. Will be the Thursday Wind Down hosted by Starla K. Mathis. There's only 2 episodes left in Scandal, so you definitely want to join her and her guests as they talk all things Scandal and some other gossipy topics as they wind down on this Thursday. And then after that will be True Baller Thursday, hosted by the Reggie Mathis and J. Cole, and they have a special guest tonight, so you definitely want to tune in as they talk about all things basketball. And then, in case you have missed any programs this week, don't forget that all of our episodes are available on demand on our website, thefifthcolumnnetwork.com. You can definitely go there and click to watch by show or click to watch by channel, or of course, you can just click the playlist and watch them in reverse chronological order. With that, this has been another episode of Prime News. I'm Trezene. You can find me at Trezene on all social media. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you all next time.